Welcome to Root Stem, and welcome to this painting video, painting up these little cherubs using pretty much advanced contrast paint techniques.
Thanks very much for joining us. In this particular tutorial, as you can see, I'm going to be using a mixture of contrast and normal paints. I am going to be using a lot of contrast as the basing material, and we're going to be using normal paints to kind of highlight and accentuate those particular colours. As you can see, I'm pointing there on what you're going to need. We are using Dark Oak Flesh, Apothecary Grey. We've got some Lead Belcher, Acadian Flesh Tone, some used Shabty Bone, some Carrick Stone, some Cantor Blue, some Teclis Blue, some, I keep wanting to call it Enchanted Blue, but I don't think it's Sky something Blue. Yeah, that'll do. White Scar, Grey Seer, and of course some Screaming Bell. Although I do think in the end that I don't actually use a Screaming Bell, so you can ignore that for the moment. So we're going to start off with some Dark Oak Flesh. I am using some of the cherubs that you get with the Sisters of Battle. That's one of the projects that I've been doing at the moment. So I'm just going to paint up all of their flesh just to get them ready for some of the next stages. And they are pretty good models to do this with because they are pretty much highly detailed but very small, so you can kind of get away with some mistakes. And it's good practice, to be honest with you, especially if you're wanting to get stuff painted fast.
So now using Acadian Flesh Tone, just go all over the figure in an up and down dry brush motion and make sure you cover the entirety of the model with the initial flat, with the first stage. Then using Kislev Flesh, just going in normally in one direction, highlight just mainly the edges if you can, of the actual flesh itself. Now we're going to go back in with Dawnstone and Grey Seer. This is just to make sure that the other areas, like the wings and everything else, are now ready for the rest of the actual paints. The Dawnstone is used on everything that's going to be kind of used, well, the Grey Seer, sorry, is going to be used on everything that's going to be a lighter colour. Dawnstone I'm using as a base for the black because I always find that Grey Seer and the black doesn't work very well together. Next up, we're going to be using some Apothecary White. This is just going to be put all over the wings to give us our initial stage, our base. Because, of course, we're going to have very vestigial, cherub-like, pure white wings. Now let's put on the Black Templar, going over the areas we've painted with the Dawnstone. Like I say, I prefer this as a base than I do with normal Grey Seer. Just be careful not to try and get it on anything else, but I will be covering the majority of the areas, the other areas on this with metallics, so you tend to be fine if you make some mistake. And then we've got some Seraphim Sepia with some Lamium Medium. This is thinned down. This is going to be the colour that we're going to be using for our Purity Seal or Scrolls that are coming off the cherubs. It's just a quick and easy way of doing that, getting that initial colour that we're wanting without having to mess around doing it in layers. And then we're going to use some pure Seraphim Sepia. This is going to be down the little bones that I've got down the back of the spine. This will give us a kind of like a very dark bone-like colour using the Grey Seer as a base. Then we've got some Fuan Grey. This is going to be dry brushed heavily onto the wings. This is the start of making our white wings. And then white scar to finish the white wings off. Just try and doing it in 1 or 2 sweeps or directions. Don't circular this one. You want to kind of go just do an up and down motion. Now the metallics. So we're going to base everything that we want in metallic in lead belcher. So on these figures myself, I'm doing the masks that some of them have got. We're doing all the handholds for some of the weapons, and of course the chains, because it's the models that I have are from 2 different sets. So we've got 4 that are very similar, but then 1 that's different. Now we're going to go back on with the Dawnstone. This is just to dry brush and just to give the black a little bit more definition. Now some Volupus Pink. I've just basically done that on the 1 purity seal that I've got on there. That just makes it done quickly. And we're also getting some Griff Charger Grey, and we're putting that into the silver metallics. This will mean that we don't really need to go back over it with any known oil or highlights later. It'll just kind of do it as 1 sweep for us rather than us having to mess around. Nazreg Yellow is now going to be put onto the masks, which of course I've put onto us as a silver base. Because they've got a silver base, it should give us a very odd looking gold colour. Or odd looking, it actually looks quite nice. Now I've got some Blood Angels Red. This is mainly to do the eyes on the figures, which I went back over with some Grey Seer or metallics depending on the actual model. And then just, of course, dotted the lenses that they were going to have on their little bionic eyes. And the kind of like sensor that's on the other one as well, I just painted some pure. I went into some Dark or Flesh, which is what I'm going to be doing next. I watered it down a little bit. This is the Dark or Flesh is when I'm doing the scripture on the scrolls. It's easy to do and it just makes it look really, really cool. But also put some Dark or Flesh on the other metallics as well, just to sort of separate them from the silver, which is what I'm doing here. And that's just on that little sort of like incense ball. And there you have it. We've got some little peeps to stick next to our Sisters of Battle. Yay. So yeah, basically that's a quick and easy way of doing those particular models. They're quite good to do with contrast paints, these models, because as you can see, they have a hell of a lot of detail, but there's not a lot of actual model. So you can get away with only using certain paints. Possibly reusing certain paints, and yeah, I quite like how they've actually come out right at the end. and make them look stacking and amazing. Well, thanks very much for watching, guys. Please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button if you do want to see more, and we will hopefully see you next week for some more painting videos and hopefully some battle reports in the future. Well, take care. We'll see you next time.